Hello everybody and welcome to AFB Gaming. If you're new, if you're not new, welcome back. I am going to show you guys a build for a Magical Warden for CP campaign, PvP, open world dueling, however it is you want to do it. I don't know if you guys will like it or not, but here it is. So, buff up. These are stats right here. Golded out everything. So we got 44k max magic, about 1300 recovery, 20k health, 2174 spell damage, 45% crit, 14k resistances. Using the Lover Mundus Stone, max health, max magic, food, and that's all I got because I'm in PvP, so we don't have like any amp bonus or whatever. I don't have continuous attack going either, but that'll go up more. And this is unbuffed. So, sets we're going to be using, 5-piece necropotence, which is max magic, max magic, max magic, and then even more max magic when you have a pet active, which is your Betty Netch. And then we have 1-piece IceHeart for some extra spell crit, and 5-piece Shacklebreaker. So the way you're going to run this, or the way I run this, is the jewelry for necropotence with 1 recovery glyph, the rest are spell damage. Honestly, you probably could put another spell damage glyph on it if you wanted to. I just like some extra recovery, and then you could also be vampire if you want more recovery, but I'm not. 5-piece Shacklebreaker on the body, except for 1-piece necropotence. You can get this in Impen, preferably, although I have mine in Divine, so whatever. I switch off between PvE, PvP, so there's that. But for Shacklebreaker, you definitely want Impen, max magic, light armor, and the nice thing about this is it literally just gives you damage, recovery, and then overall sustain. Not just magic, but also stam, so this works out really well in case you need to block some or dodge roll and stuff like that, which I feel like Magicka builds don't do enough of, so that definitely helps out. I have 6 pieces of light armor, 1 medium, because I don't know, I'm an idiot, and I thought it was light armor, but it's not. It doesn't really matter though, because like, I mean, it would just lower resistances and like magic recovery and stuff like that. It's not that big of a deal. If you wanted to run like 5-1-1, that's also an option too. I just have 6-1. So we run a Resto Staff of Necropotence. I have it sharpened because it's just like the only trait I got. You could go for powered or defending, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then an Ice Staff sharpened. You can go for, again, whatever trait fits you. This is just what I got and it works out for me, so let me see. We just need some penetration. That's really all it is. I have Drain Magicka Poisons on this bar, and although it is mainly used for like PvE, it actually works out in PvP. So like when you do like a heavy attack with your Resto Staff, you get some extra magic back, you drain some of the enemies, and that helps obviously if they're a magic build. If not, then it doesn't really bother them too much, I don't think. But you have an Ice Staff, and that has a chance to get them like, what is it? It's called chilled. I'll show you guys in just a second here. So here we have the skills. We've got Screaming Cliff Racer, which is a definite must-have. Basically just like a finisher. You know, if they're like running away and they got low health, like they can't dodge it, like it can't miss, so it's a pretty good skill. Next we have Crushing Shock. It actually does decent amount of damage, as well as interrupt, and sets them off balance, which is pretty good because that'll increase your damage towards that enemy if they are set off balance by like 10%, I think it is, through the champion points. Inner Light, a good skill for a lot of reasons, bad skill for some reasons. The good thing is, obviously, if you're fighting like Nightblades, you can get them out of stealth for a second. It increases your max magic by 3%, and you also get 10% spell crit by getting Major Prophecy on this bar. And Deep Fissure, which is going to be like our main burst damage thing. and it also stuns one enemy. So it doesn't stun multiple, but it stuns one. So if it's like a 1v1 situation, you just hit them with this medium attack, crushing shock, cliff racer, they're usually dead. Now this spot here, you can switch out for whatever depending on the situation. I just have Frost Clench because I like the fact that it immobilizes the target, which is like basically it'll just drain their stam unless they want to be like a sitting duck, a stationary target, and whatnot. It's really helpful in a 1v1 situation, although you can switch it out for, you know, something like Bird of Prey, which will give you, you know, major expedition, major endurance, and minor berserk. So it's also a good option, and it'll make you fast, hit hard, stuff like that. You could throw on Fetcher Infection if you wanted to, or a Destruction Staff of Elemental Blockade. So I know that sounds kind of funny, but if you're fighting like multiple enemies, it just kind of puts pressure on them, really. Like, okay, don't stand here because, you know, whatever reason. But it also, since it's Blockade of Frost, it reduces their speed and immobilizes chilled enemies, which is the reason why we're using an Ice Staff versus like a Fire Staff. Not going super meta or whatever, but it'll just like force them to be stuck, and then they gotta dodge roll out unless they just want to take a, you know, a whole bunch of burst damage, which is what you're gonna try to be getting at. But you can hit them with this or Destructive Clench, like I said, and that's like a for sure as long as it hits them. Yeah. And then for ultimate, I have Elemental Storm because I suck and I don't have it morphed. You could obviously go with the PvP morph where it follows you around, or you could throw on the Winter's Embrace, not this morph, but the other one, Permafrost, because that one, it'll do damage, it reduces their movement speed. I think that one gives you major protection as well, but instead of increasing your max magic by 8% while slotted, if they get hit 3 times, they get stuck, so they get rooted, and I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure it will stack with the Frost Clench one. It could not, I'm not too sure, but that's also a good ultimate choice if you want to do that. Last ultimate choice for this bar could be Soul Assault. Again, this is like new character. I haven't really done a lot of things, missing some pretty important skill points and whatnot, but you know, you could throw this on and just like solo, you know, like 1v1 situation. This plus, you know, your whole burst combo, which I'm going to show you guys, it'll just melt somebody, absolutely melt them. And then also, if you have Mage's Guild all the way up, Ice Comet is definitely a good one to have too. That's enough of that. So, on your resto bar, we have Dampen Magic, which will give you an 8 or a 9k shield, depending on if you're buffed or not. And it's actually pretty good. So the reason we have a lot of light armor is because of Dampen Magic. So the more light armor you have, the higher the damage absorption will be for Dampen Magic. So that's very important. Crystallized Slab. Now the thing about this is it's a really good skill, but there's a couple situations where you have to kind of keep certain aspects in mind. So when we read this, we see it. Oh shit! Am I being attacked? Oh, that sucks. Okay. Sorry, this is not part of the plan. Alright. Well, now you saw the build in action. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So Crystallized Slab, thing you have to keep in mind about this is it absorbs 19k damage. So like when you buff up, it's actually, yeah, 19k damage. And it'll restore magic, and it breaks after 3 projectiles, but it also only lasts 6 seconds. And on each successful absorption, the projectile is sent back to the enemy, and it does 4k frost damage. So if they don't do more than 19k with those 3 projectiles, then it'll go back and do like 12k damage to them, which is actually pretty good. What to keep in mind, though, is when you're facing like a Magicka Templar and they're using like Dark Flare, those can hit pretty damn hard, about 19 to 20k, depending how they build their build. I remember my Magic of Templar hit around that much. So, you know, it'll break one shield and it'll shoot back at them for 4k damage, but we know it also grants them power, so their second one hits even harder. So it won't actually send the second one back. It'll break all three of them, so you have to cast this twice. Just, you know, to keep that in mind. Next skill we got Healing Ward, pretty self-explanatory. It's a good shield, heals you for it. Just really good to have all around. Combine it with Dampen Magic, you honestly won't need any other heal. But if you just want to kind of, you know, like for a beginner type thing, you could definitely throw on like Enchanted Growth instead of Healing Ward, or you know, like Living Vines. You know, it's just whatever. Also on the front bar, if you don't want to have Inner Light and you're not used to builds like Magic builds or whatever, you usually play Stam, you could also throw on Dampen Magic here just to have it double barred, you know, as like an oh shit button. Then we have Blue Betty. You know, pretty good skill. I mean, it'll give you magic back. Not a lot, but it gives you magic back. Grants you major sorcery for 27 seconds. And the one thing that a lot of people forget is that it is a purge. Although not a big one like Templars have with the Ritual Retribution, where it takes up off to like 5 things, but it'll remove 1 negative effect. So if you have like Minor Maim on you, you could just cast this skill again. It doesn't cost anything, so really just like a free Purify. But if you have, you know, like multiple skills, like it kind of sucks. And the best thing is you can kind of like cancel it. So instead of going through the whole animation with it, you can press the button and then just swap a bar real quick and boom. You see like the timer resets and like it won't take anything off. You see necropotence, you know, still stays active. Like, yeah, I have like a little bit less magic on one bar, but it's like, you know, you don't really lose anything. Like it doesn't go down and back up. So you can do that. Same with like any other skills. You know, like Slab. You can just kind of swap bars and just have it like pop up real quick. Good animation canceling. And then the last skill you have is Ice Fortress. So this is very important. It's gonna take kind of some getting used to, but it's definitely worth it. So you wrap a thick cloak of ice around you and nearby allies. So if you're playing in a group, this is actually really good, and it'll give them major resolve and major ward, increasing both physical and spell resistances by 5.2k for 22 seconds. Also, you gain minor protection, reducing incoming damage by 8% for also 22 seconds. Really awesome, because minor protection is something that classes don't really get, and if you do get it, it's usually because of, you know, some skill or something that'll last for like 8 seconds, but this is 22 seconds of major protection, and man, does it save your ass, especially if you got your shields up. You know, healing really isn't that big of a deal, but if you're still getting nuked down, you have Healing Thicket, which is like the best healing ultimate. I was gonna say go ahead and use like the Resto ultimate, but not only because I don't have it unlocked or morphed or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that Healing Thicket is cheaper with 75 ultimate, plus it does heal you for a lot more than the other one does, I believe, because it's like an AoE heal. So the best part is it's not like just a quick cast and it's done like the Resto Staff one, but this is like an AoE heal. Like, I mean, look at this. Like, you can stand anywhere in here, and not just you, but anyone who stands in here is going to get healed. And like, you have this, the Healing Thicket. So it's a massive heal, and let's see. You heal for like 7-8k health, and then you heal for 3k every second while you're in there, and then when it ends, you continue to heal. Well, your allies do. I don't know if it works for you, but you heal for like 4 seconds after that for like 18k. It's a huge heal. Pretty awesome. So that's the build. I guess I could go over champion points. You saw kind of how it played just now when I got jumped, but yeah, as far as this, you know, reduced break free by 4.78, so like 10 points into here, 100 into recovery, 35 into tenacity, 75 into tumbling. The reason I did this was just so that I can dodge roll more in PvP, plus the passive for Treasure Hunter, kind of important to me. But you could definitely change that around and throw more into Warlord or Siphoner, you know, like whatever. Siphoner's not bad, actually. probably would be a better option than tumbling. But yeah. Blue tree, we got 20 into Elfborn, 100 into Elemental Expert, 25 into Spell Erosion. If you wanted to run like the Apprentice Moon, or yeah, the Apprentice Rune, whatever the fuck it's called, you could put like 25 more points into Spell Erosion, and then take it out of Elemental Expert, because I don't really think you need that much, but, you know, YOLO. 0 here and here, 75 into Thaumaturge, just to get the Exploiter passive for off-balance enemies. Not that it happens too often, but when it does, it's pretty helpful. Red tree, we got 15 into Ironclad. I just usually run 50, 50, 20 for PvE. I didn't change it around for PvP because fuck it, it works. And then 85 into Bastion. So you're going to need a shit ton into Bastion just because obviously you have 2 shields and that's like how you're going to stay alive. So definitely put points into Bastion. That's it on the build. I hope you guys like it. I definitely like it. Let me know how you like it. You know, saw how it plays kind of. If you want to see more, then I'll definitely put more out, but that's really how it is. Oh, rotation. Rotation. Well, that's what really all this is about, right? So what you're going to want to do is buff up Betty, major protection, major ward, blah, blah, blah. And then if the enemy is ranged, definitely put your shields up and try to keep that up constantly. What you're going to want to do is definitely cast this too. And since it takes 2 seconds to do, you can actually cancel it with another one. It does not refund magic, so be careful. But, you know, you want to hit them with this, immobilize them, boom, a stun, and usually that will do it. But in case that doesn't, what you're going to really want to do is medium attack, instant crushing shock, that'll hit, bird, boom. So kind of a weird rotation. Reason I use destructive clenches just to make sure they don't move, because you know, especially stamina builds, they'll be rolling around all over the place and shit. So you gotta make sure that your target stays there. If not, you know, still boom, boom. It's really just deep fissure, like a medium attack. Once that hits, hit with crushing shock. Another light attack or medium attack, crushing shock again, and then good job, Pa. And then a bird to end it, and usually that'll kill them. If not, then oh shit, look what I got. If not, then switch back to this bar, because you're probably gonna get hit pretty hard. Make sure your buffs are back up, and then shield, shield. Doesn't matter which one really goes first. Go back for this heavy attack, boom. You know, oh shit, that actually hit him. Sweet. See? It's super easy. This is why I didn't want to make a magic build. I usually do stand builds just because they're actually harder to play. Because magic builds, you literally stay far, you smash a couple buttons, you have 2 shields to keep you alive. It's stupid easy for anyone to play, really. As long as you got the gear. The gear is gonna probably be like the hardest thing. Now that I actually have continuous attack, let's check my shit real quick. So yeah. So look at that, like almost 21k health, 44k magic, like almost 1500 recovery. Like I don't know, this 13k stam, like this is pretty good. If you really wanted to, like you could probably get more crit resistance or whatever, like, but this build is like stupid easy and it's fucking awesome. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys like it, and I will see you guys